Hey everyone, welcome to the final round of the 2024 World Chess Championship between defending world champion Ding Liren from China and the challenger Gukesh Dommaraju from India. After 13 rounds of battle, the score is tied. Ding Liren gets the white pieces today. Will we get a new world champion, or will we have to wait for the tie breaks tomorrow? Let's find out. Game started with knight f3, the Réti opening. This natural and solid move wasn't taken seriously until Richard Réti in 1923 and 1924 proved its potential. They mentioned in fundamental chess openings that he didn't just develop some variations or some move orders, but instead the whole strategic concept of controlling the center from the flank instead of occupying it early with pawns. He died shortly afterwards at 40 years of age of scarlet fever. Gukesh occupies the center with d5, whereas Ding Liren controls the center from the flank with the bishop, fianchettoing it on the long diagonal. After knight c6 and d4, we have a reversed Grunfeld. And according to modern chess openings, the reversed Grunfeld is perfectly fine for black as long as they don't play it as a Grunfeld with white, because they don't have that extra move. After e6, they are defending the pawn on c5. With the bishop, so they may recapture with a piece. Now castles, cd4, knight d4. Now knight ge7, an interesting move. It hasn't been played much, and it defends this knight, but also does what happens next. Now knight d4, queen d4, and knight c6, replacing the knight on c6 with this other one while hitting the queen at the same time, so gaining a tempo. Tempo gaining moves are good because time is very important in chess. Now e3, putting some pressure on this pawn, and of course black shouldn't take because otherwise they would activate white's pieces. Now bishop c5, e d4, bishop d4, knight c3, castles, knight b5 hitting the bishop, bishop goes back. Now b3, preparing to fianchetto the dark squared bishop on the long diagonal. a6, knight c3 back, bishop d4, pinning the knight to the rook, bishop b2, I'm pinning, e5, not only reinforcing the bishop on d4, but also, more importantly, vacating the e6 square so that the light squared bishop may develop there. Now, queen d2. I'm pinning this knight because this bishop was unguarded. Now it is protected by the queen. Now, bishop e6, knight d5, centralizing a knight, and not only that, it is centralized in the opponent's turf, hitting all these squares, but at the same time, it discovers visibility of these two pieces. Now, Ding Liren might want to trade pieces and draw this game, because if that happens, tomorrow are the tie breaks in rapid and blitz time controls, and he is the favorite for that. Now, b5, putting pressure on the pawn, and by extension, putting the pressure on this knight because it is defended by the pawn. cb5, this works because even though this knight loses one defender, this pawn is also hitting the c6 knight. Now, after knight f4, some other trades are offered because this knight gets hit by the bishop on g2. Gukesh trades like this. The dark squared bishops also fly off the board. Now, this rook and the pawn get hit, but both can be defended by rook b8. King gets hit, bishop gets hit, goes back. Now, after fg3, only hg3 is a possible recapture because this pawn is pinned to the king. That happens. b4, controlling a3 and c3. a4, en passant, rook a3. And you may notice that this pawn is under a lot of pressure by black's pieces. Now g6, queen d4, offering a trade of queens. Again, Ding Liren looking for trades. Now Gukesh declines, and b4 is played. Now, here, Ding Liren is again offering a trade of queens, but one where he will be a pawn down in the resulting endgame. Gukesh gladly accepts. This is still a draw, but of course, Gukesh has better chances with the extra pawn. Now, after rook a8, pinning the rook to the king, looking for more trades, those rooks fly off the board. Ding Liren tries to get more trades in. Of course, the more pieces he can trade, the simpler it will be to draw this endgame. Ding Liren plays f3 in order to trade another pair of pawns. He does so. And after a couple more moves, this position is reached. The only thing between Ding Liren and the tie breaks, where he would be the favorite, is this pawn down drawn endgame. But in this position, the world champion blunders. He plays rook f2, offering a trade of rooks, which Gukesh gladly accepts. Not only that, but Gukesh also offers a trade of his own and forces it even. This is the first time in the whole game that Gukesh has offered the trade. Ding has to accept it, as the bishop has no other squares. Gukesh makes the trade because this is a king and pawns versus king and pawn winning endgame. Ding Liren plays one more move, king e3, and after king e5, the world champion resigns because his king is forced back just as he is forced to back away from the world championship title. Gukesh Dommaraju from India is your new world chess champion. Youngest world chess champion in history. Incredible match. Ding Liren blundered, but he blundered under severe time pressure. He was down to 10 minutes when his opponent had over an hour left. The classical portion of the event reached the final game, the 14th game, and we still didn't have a result until today. Very well fought match by both sides. And this is the result. We have a new world chess champion, Gukesh Dommaraju. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Comment below. It all helps very much, and I'll be very grateful. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you around. Bye.